Keep open house and generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, the very generous Father in heaven. We proclaim that Christ is the light of the world. His words, "You are the light of the world," sum up our plain obligation to reflect this light. In his message last week, Tim said that we are all called. It isn't enough just to accept the call. We are to live out our call. Jesus didn't say, "Follow me," so we'd sit on our tushes and do nothing. As Tim reminded us last week, we are all given gifts and expected to use these gifts. Not sure what your gifts are? We're going to help you. The health team has been working through a spiritual gifts program. And what a blessing this journey has been. This opportunity will be offered to everyone here in the coming months. I invite you to participate. Even if you've taken a spiritual gifts inventory in the past, it will be beneficial to explore again. If you haven't taken one, take this opportunity when it comes. You will be blessed and possibly, and I'll even go so far as to say probably, surprised, as I am sure some of the health team committee can attest. So how are we to be this light, a reflection of Jesus, with action? Have you noticed that Jesus uses action words? He said, "Go, make disciples, feed my sheep, love your neighbor." I get a lot of emails, and some of them I just toss, but some are good, and I happened to find one that fit in here. God won't ask you what kind of car you drove. He'll ask you, how many people did you transport that didn't have transportation? God won't ask you the square footage of your house. God will ask you how many people you welcomed into it. God won't ask you about the clothes in your closet. God will ask you how many people you clothed. God won't ask you how many friends you had. He'll ask how many you have befriended. God won't ask what your highest salary was. God will ask if you compromised your character to obtain it. God won't ask what neighborhood you lived in. He'll ask how you treated your neighbors. So be authentic, be yourself. Let the light of Christ shine through you. Bear witness to Christ and your zeal for a life in grace through the quality of your walk, not just the quantity of your talk. Trust that God has given you everything you need to be a living reminder of Jesus Christ. Allow God's love to flow through you to everyone. Family, co-workers, the clerk in the store, the gas station attendant, you get the idea. If it doesn't flow through you, it'll eventually stop flowing at all. A word of caution. Remember to stay connected to Christ. Tim called it the Jesus socket. You need to stay plugged in. You can do this through prayer and study. Take time to be in the presence of God, to listen, to talk with God. Stay connected with other Christians as well. Worship is one way. Some others are small groups, Bible studies, and accountability groups, which we're going to be working on getting small groups. More small groups. We already have them, but we're going to get some more. So, I found another story on the internet, in case you haven't figured out. I was on the internet a lot this week. There was a group of salesmen several years ago that went to a convention in Chicago. And it was Friday, and they were returning home, and they had told their wives, "Well, we'll be home in time for dinner." In the rush in the airport with their tickets and their briefcases, one of the salesmen kicked over a table which held a display of apples. Apples went everywhere. Without stopping or looking back, they all managed to reach the plane in time for their boarding. All but one. He paused, took a deep breath, got in touch with his feelings, and experienced a twinge of compassion for the girl whose apple stand had been overturned. He told his buddies, "Go on without me," waved goodbye, told him to call his wife and say he's taking a later flight. He returned to the terminal where the apples were all over the floor, and he was glad he did. The 16-year-old girl was totally blind. She was crying, tears running down her cheeks in frustration, and at the same time helplessly groping for spilled produce. No one stopped to help her, and no one seemed to care about her plight. The salesman knelt on the floor with her, gathered up the apples, put them back on the table, and helped organize her display. When he finished, he pulled out his wallet and said to the girl, "Please take this $40 for the damage we did. Are you okay?" She nodded through her tears. He continued with, "I hope we didn't spoil your day too badly." As the salesman started to walk away, the girl called out to him, "Mister?" He paused and turned around to look back into those eyes, and she continued, "Are you Jesus?" He stopped in mid-stride and wondered. Then slowly he made his way to catch the later flight, that first question burning and bouncing in his soul. Are you Jesus? Do people mistake you for Jesus? Isn't that what we should be doing? To be so much like Jesus that people cannot tell the difference as we live and interact with a world that is blind to his love and grace. If we claim to know him, we should live, walk, and act as he would. Knowing him is more than simply quoting scripture and going to church. It's actually living the word as life unfolds day to day. The musician Chris Royce sums this up beautifully in his song, "Go Light Your World." I ask you to listen carefully to the words. This isn't, nobody's saying go out and be a missionary and convert pygmies. Small things. Let the light of God shine